Antonio Brown's grievance against the NFL has been denied, and the star wide receiver will not be allowed to wear his outdated helmet moving forward. This coming after AB reportedly threatened to retire from football for not being able to wear his old helmet. However, Brown seems to have had a change of heart and is returning to the Raiders practice facility today. AB tweeted out his excitement yesterday to return to the field. Quote, he's quoting himself here, folks, "While I disagree with the arbitrator's decision, I'm working on getting to full health and looking forward to rejoining my teammates on the field. I'm excited about this season. Appreciate all the concerns about my feet." All right. Greg Jennings, you had a rough opening segment there on Dak. Let's do better here.
Wow.
Greg, how do you feel about how Antonio Brown handled this fiasco?
I love how he handled it. I wouldn't call it a fiasco. I would call it an issue that he had with his helmet.
Yes.
I love how he responded with it, to it. This was what I suspected he would do, take his loss and move on. Period. There's nothing else need to be said. When you look at the situation that he was up against, it was already in writing. Every player had signed off on it, including himself. So it was something that, again, I had experienced. I understand and understood where he was coming from and his rapport that he had built with that helmet and his confidence, and that was a part of who he was for so many years. But now what he said in his release statement, I'm looking forward to rejoining my teammates and playing football. That's what this is all about, and that's what the focus should be. It shouldn't be solely on Antonio Brown and everything that he's doing that is pulling away from what the team is trying to get done. He understands how to work. He's always been a high work ethic guy and always has produced on the football field. Regardless of what he's done off the field, they have been okay with what he's done off the field in years prior. They have suppressed and swept everything under the rug by choice because of the production. And that's what's going to continue to take place. He's going to continue to produce, continue to be a great teammate. You never hear anyone talk about Antonio Brown is a selfish teammate. He's all about himself. You don't hear guys talk about that until you leave the locker room, and then all of a sudden you're no longer in there, and now everybody has something to say. And it's not everyone, mind you.
Hold up. He was a little selfish in the Pittsburgh locker room going on Facebook Live after a Chiefs playoff victory. Mike Tomlin ended up catching some heat for it, said some stuff about the Patriots. Let's not give Brown a total free pass.
I'm not giving him a pass for those.
But I'm with Greg on this. Bravo to AB.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Bravo for showing up for your job. Way to go.
For handling this the right way. This is in the CBA, which allows him to appeal.
Yes.
It's just like when players get into fights and they get suspended for 3 games and they go to the commissioner for an appeal. It was just a process. And people jumped on him because you want him to part with a helmet he's worn for 10 years in the National Football League, as if it doesn't matter. If it didn't matter about your helmet, Greg, you would grab any helmet on the sideline and put it on.
Exactly.
It doesn't work like that. And all he did was he exercised what was in front of him and allowed by the league. And then once he was denied, he did the right thing. Issued a statement. He's not going to quit. There's no name calling. There's no fight. He did what he was supposed to do. He handled it very professionally. So I love what he did. I think people have decided that no matter what he does or what he says, because he wanted out of Pittsburgh and because of everything, that they're always going to jump on him no matter what the situation. There are reasons to jump on him. A guy wanting to hold on to his helmet that he feels comfortable with isn't one of them.
No.
Even Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers both talked about it, about when they had to give up their helmets. They weren't happy about it. It's an adjustment.
It is.
So I think that he was right in not wanting to do that, and he decided, okay, I have to move on. And, Greg, you laid it out. It's all set up. He wasn't going to win, but who knows? You go, you make your case. Maybe there's a technicality. Maybe there's something, that goes on, and maybe you're that guy. You're the exception to the rule. That's why sometimes you take on cases even though you know you're not going to win.
Yeah,
guys appeal not always to just outright win, but they appeal to reduce whatever discipline action has been presented them. When it comes to fines across the National Football League, guys appeal fines every single week.
If you could save a game check, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. If you can save some dollars, you appeal it. And so what Antonio Brown was exercising was his rights to appeal something that he felt, if they give me half a season, if they give me a preseason, just give me more time with my helmet, I will take it. But they decided on not to do it. He has every right to disagree and then move forward amicably. Like, he's fine.
All right, I got to be careful with what I say here.
Be careful,
I went after the drama king yesterday, Antonio Brown. And I heard from some people on, around the league that I know. And I guess I came away with this, guys. Hard Knocks is tonight, okay? Hard Knocks season opener was last week. Not very well thought of. The first episode was kind of boring. Antonio Brown, the drama king, has a lot of drama ahead of episode 2 of Hard Knocks. And I wonder, and I'm just asking, just saying, as Rob Parker likes to say, how much of this was for show, was for television? How much of this appeal and this, I might retire, because just to go back to the retirement, Rob, this wasn't some wishy-washy report. This was Adam Schefter, one of the elite NFL reporters out there, saying that Antonio Brown could retire. How much of this was done? Antonio Brown and his drama, and maybe not necessarily the feat. But this whole argument and this I might retire and this huffy fit, this 6-year-old stomping their feet in the middle of Toys R Us because they can't get their Barbie doll, how much of this was for show, was for Hard Knocks tonight?
I respect Adam Schefter as a reporter, but I just cannot believe that he would ever consider quitting over a equipment situation. I just don't. And I don't believe at all that this has anything to do with...
Nothing.
Nothing with playing up to reality TV to get them ratings. This is a personal thing that he went on that field with for 10 years. You know it. It's like playing softball. I have my glove. I don't want to use your glove, Greg. I want to use my glove.
Let me remind you.
That's broken in and I feel comfortable with. Yes, I will argue with you over equipment that I feel comfortable with.
I'm all for that. I understand that aspect. But the fact of the matter is Antonio Brown is a showman, okay? He loves celebrations more than anything. He went on a reality show last year, The Masked Singer, I believe, here on Fox. He is one of these guys who's setting up for... I'm coming into camp in a hot air balloon. I'm going to roll up in a back up the Brinks truck. This is what he does. He wants to be bigger than football. He wants that profile outside of sports.
But I don't believe that would be the case with the helmet. If you want to say some other stuff
but it's a
and make
springboard.
a show,
He's using that to enhance his profile. You probably got 60, 70-year-old relatives who were like, man, I read about that Antonio Brown. People now know, my mom, a mom who doesn't really watch football, texting me about Antonio Brown. What's wrong with this guy? He now has a profile outside of sports if he wants to transition to TV in a couple years when the Raiders cut him.
People always will have a question about what they don't understand, period.
Right,
that's just life. If they don't know him and they don't understand him, they will never know the gist of who he is and the makeup of who he is. So for you to say that this is all a show, no, you obviously are misunderstanding the situation because you haven't experienced the situation.
Here we go.
With him playing in this helmet, what I want people to understand is the helmet that is in question here, that is no longer deemed safe, was deemed safe last year. All of a sudden...
Because now it's 10 years, right?
It's 10 years, and I understand this was all drawn up, and the player signed off on this collective bargaining, all that stuff. I get all that. But for him to now say, you know what, yeah, you can just take my helmet and put up no fight, no, that's unrealistic.
I understand.
That's unrealistic. It's not a show. If this was no Hard Knocks, this same situation would be coming up. It was coming up last year. It was coming to a head. But he had a grandfather clause in there to where he could still wear it. So now, all of a sudden, it's come to a head, and now it's for Hard Knocks. Wow, Jason, you're reaching again.
Okay, fair enough. It's okay. We will watch. By the way, I'm an HBO watcher. I think this will be the best episode on HBO since the Euphoria season finale. I'm sure you guys watch that. But tonight, listen, when we come in tomorrow, because yes, we'll be back here tomorrow, and Hard Knocks is incredible, and it's the buzz of the internet, and it's because of Antonio Brown, and he shows up at practice, and he's fine. Just remember this moment, folks, because I think you guys are going to owe me an apology tomorrow.
This will be
right?
interesting. I thought he wasn't around the team.
He's going to be around the team today.
No, I'm talking about for Hard Knocks.
Well,
right? The helmet, the story, scenario that you brought up.
See.
And if there's none of that in there, will you take it back? If there's none of that,
yes, I will definitely 100,000%. I'll take it back.
Just want to make sure
the
you take it back.
cryotherapy issue. Also, he may show up at the facility today and say, "I can't go. My feet are still busted up from being in cryotherapy." And then what are we? 2 preseason games in, he hasn't practiced with the team with his new quarterback. I love how you guys.
I don't like the fact that you say he hasn't practiced with the team, because had he not been present all off season, that would have been the topic of discussion.
All he did was work out.
All we saw was him at the facility,
checking his bank account,
him making sure that he was there and present.
I missed that.
Then he gets this treatment. And this happens to his feet.
And didn't he hook up with Derek Carr in the offseason?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, all offseason long. I understand the importance of training camp. Why do I understand the importance of training camp? Because I've been a part of 10 of them. However, I also understand the importance of my feet. And if my feet aren't fit to go, what good am I as a receiver? What good am I as an athlete, as a sports entertainer? I'm no good to my team. I'm not going to be productive. So, yes, I'm going to sit out and wait till my feet heal and feel better, so then I can be productive for my team.
I just can't wait for him to get back on the field, do what he does, so we can stop with all the other stuff. I think what's lost about AB is what a great receiver he's been.
Oh, yeah.
I really do, and I think that's what you need because of what happened at the end in Pittsburgh and now the offseason with the Raiders and everything. Once he gets back out there, he starts catching touchdowns, I think people will go back to realizing he's a great football player, and all this other stuff is just noise. Because that's what it is, it's just noise.
It can't be noise if he quits on his team in Week 17. I love how Rob is like, well, the end in Pittsburgh. He quit on his team. He walked out of practice, went AWOL all week.
They told him he wasn't going to play, and he got upset. He shouldn't have done it.
That's because he got all huffy.
He shouldn't have done it.
Because his teammates didn't vote.
Did they win the game?
MVP. They did beat the Bengals.
And they didn't make the playoffs.
They did not make the playoffs. But I love how he makes that leap. Antonio Brown quits on the team. Who cares? They missed the playoffs. Rob,
they won the game. Did they not win the game?
They did win the game.
Okay.
That just defeated your entire
No, it didn't.
Yes, it does. If they didn't win the game and he didn't play, you could even put even more blame on him. I'm just saying they won the game.
On his team. What do you not understand?
Why did the Raiders sign a guy who quit on his team?
Because they're desperate. They had nobody at receiver.
Because they know he's
Jordy Nelson retired.
Because they know he's such a talented receiver.
Yeah, why did they sign Vontaze Burfict? Why did they sign Richie Incognito? Those guys talented too? John Gruden has no idea what he's doing with the Raiders. I can't wait for this implosion. Look at Greg. He's like, oh, boy.
I
know I can't go in on the Raiders now.
Cowboys, Raiders.
I'm going to let them have it.
I got to start to be more positive. I don't want to be Mr. Negative. So let's turn to LeBron James.